Monster Hunter has always been known for its gaming and, well, the quality of the monsters that we fight. However, taking a look at their ecology, you really have to look at these monsters as animals sometimes. And sometimes, just like in nature, some animals are just horrifying to come across. Those you would never ever want to meet alone in the woods, or even hope they don't raid your village and just destroy everything. For knowing these monsters are around could very well be your village's last day. So today we're going to look at those kind of monsters. Monsters that are just vastly more horrifying than they should be. And basically this is going to be about their concept. Because obviously us in the game, we looking at this like it's free boots. But we're going to be thinking in the minds of these villagers, the minds of these Wyverians, on how each of these monsters are very horrifying in their own right. And, well, you guys know what to do. Please comment down below, like, subscribe, and share with your friends, and let's begin. Number 10 is our first shared spot on this list, and I have to give it to Magnum Diablo and Diablos. See, the reason why these two are pretty horrifying to me, and keep in mind, Diablos is one of my favorites of all time when it comes to, like, the Monster Hunter franchise. Wilds, please bring him in. I need somebody to start humbling everybody in that desert, especially that Deshaga, my boy, over there. But, anywho, believe it or not, I do think that they have the most scariest when it comes to their concepts. Both Scorn Magnum Diablo and Bloodbath Diablos are absolutely terrifying when it comes to their overall concepts. A Magnum Diablo prides itself on its armor, prides itself on the fact that keeping its armor clean, or very prepped up or perked up, if you will, allows them to attract a mate. However, when they're damaged, they have nothing left but fighting for the love of the game at that point, to live, to fight, and survive. And then the irony is that they eventually developed dragon element in order to continue fighting elder dragons, putting them as one of the more dangerous variants out there. And in all honesty, I would probably say just a tad bit more dangerous than even a savage Devil Joe. The reason why I'm saying that is because you still have the athleticism of a Scorn Magnum Diablo coupled with a dragon element. It's absolutely horrifying to deal with, and I can only imagine how an elder dragon has to feel by actually getting pounced on and then jumped all over. And then there's Bloodbath. Literally the reason why, the very original reason why, I should say, why we hunters kill the monsters. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. We have to kill these monsters at the end of the day. At the end of each fight, we have to kill these monsters. And it is simply because we have to make sure this never happens again, to make sure that these monsters can actually find peace in death. Because if we don't, if we ain't doing it, then that means we're not doing our job. And Bloodbath is one of the few reasons why. Imagine a Diablo's literally gaining Elder Dragon levels of power because we didn't finish it off, because we didn't get to it. And it's horrifying because nothing could have stood against it. This means Glavenus, Tigerexes, probably Grimclaw and Brutes as well, could not take on or take down this Bloodbath Diablos. Likely even the likes of Rust Duramboros, one of the few creatures that a Devil Joe would say heck no to, was no match for Bloodbath. Both of these two are very dangerous, and this is why they're the most horrifying, or at least why they get the number 10 spot. Number 9 is the Elder Dragon Namiel. And believe it or not, originally, I mean, this is still like top 3 favorite Elder Dragons of mine here, after Primordial Maleno and obviously Nergigante at the top. But believe it or not, yeah, this is my 3rd favorite. But again, it's terrifying to me. This creature, when you first meet it, you don't even know where it is. You even look around the area and you don't even see it. And then all of a sudden, it just appears. The fact that this is related to chameleons may even mean it does have some small form of camouflage. But it's also the fact we know that this thing likely is from the old world as well, as much as Nergigante is. And it's the dominant elder dragon of the Coral Highlands, an environment that suits it. We know good and well it will likely eat the Legianas and Coral Pukis of the environment because it suits it very well. But the fact that this elder dragon's bioluminescent glow could really make it come out of nowhere. Imagine walking by in the Coral Highlands, getting from one route to another, and then all of a sudden you start seeing lights glow around you, and then you look up and then you just see a Namiel peering down at you. Absolutely horrifying. Not even to mention the fact that, again, we know this is a sea-dwelling elder dragon as well. What were their experiences like? Why was this elder dragon never truly found? Were the people that actually do find it just wiped off the map right then and there? Did they anger or disturb the beast and it just came out? And the fact that the concept art for it shows that it could have been something similar to like a axolotl or somewhat of an axolotl and octopus hybrid. It actually makes it even more terrifying in concept than you think. The fact, imagine just being at sea, but then you see this bioluminescent glow in the dark seas and stuff like that. And I guarantee you, no creature wanted to come across this. No Legiacris, Plesioth, or Golbul would want to. This elder dragon, this beautiful elder dragon, mind you, is still one of the few reasons why there are terrors in the world. And one of the few reasons why the ocean of Monster Hunter will probably be one of the most undiscovered ecosystems, even more so than our world. An elder dragon, another elder dragon I should say, other than Cadeus or Nakarkos, is down there, living and thriving as well, competing with them likely for similar prey resources. We know good and well it should eat sharks and stuff like that. That's obviously a part of the environment. But the fact that it still is just out there living its life and some people just don't even know it exists. And yet then, boom, one day you just magically manage to find it. And you may not be walking away from that at all. This is why Namiel is taking the number 9 spot.
At number 8, we have Nurcilla. Now, Nurcilla should kind of be obvious why this is one of the most horrifying creatures of all time. And this is because of, well, its habit. Now, for those of you who don't know, Nurcilla actually wears the skin of its prey because of its extreme vulnerability to thunder. However, we also know it wears the skin of other animals based on what's available to it. It will wear the skin of Kezu, red Kezu, whatchamacallit, Lavioche. Yes, so they'll even wear the lava-covered Leviathan skin. And you guys also understand that means they're able to use their webbing in order to catch it, kill it, butcher it, and then wear it, right? Then we also have, they will also take the skin of Quechahuacha, which makes sense, considering if you guys did watch my Most Delicious Monsters video, Quechahuacha does raid Nurcilla nests, or at least, you know, inhabit old Nurcilla nests as territory. However, it's risky because, again, the Nurcilla could always return to its old nests when things get difficult for it, you know? And this does mean that, well, Quechahuacha kind of puts itself on the dinner plate, if you will. But Nurcilla, believe it or not, is kind of beneficial. I mean, we know it kills Kezu, which is always a good benefit, right? Then it also kills Gypsaros as well. And the fact that it just literally webs something up, butchers it. And keep in mind, you know, we don't know if it keeps its prey alive so that it can butcher it. But we do know it does not damage the skin for some reason. So that means that the prey could likely be subdued or bitten in a very different area that Nurcilla really just doesn't require. And then it proceeds to butcher its prey. And we don't even know how it manages to really achieve this overall, but we know good and well it does manage to butcher its prey and wear its skin. Plus, we also know the egg-laying habits thanks to Monster Hunter, the movie, which would still be based on the actual evidence for the creatures. That Nurcilla may actually use its host as well baby feed, meaning that it'll lay its eggs on its prey, and then once they hatch, well, the babies have a fresh, hot meal all for themselves. So this may mean Nurcilla does keep its prey alive even after its skin, maybe. And in all honesty, I ain't gonna lie, I would never want to come across that monster in a million years if I knew that was I would raise it young. But yeah, it takes the spot. Number 7 is our last shared spot on this list, and that would actually be Gobble and Nibbles Snarf, excuse me. The big mouth Leviathans, obviously, right? Now, obviously, there's a couple reasons why I think these two are pretty terrifying as an overall concept in general. Starting off with the big mouth of the desert, we have Nibbles Snarf. Nibbles Snarf terrifies me because, again, it's just coming at you, maw open, with that little thing in the back of his mouth. Albeit it is funny to know that you can just kind of place an explosive in front of it, and then it just winds up eating the explosion. Oh, did you know in, Chaptercabra's, tongue animation, if you actually put a explosive barrel in front of it, it'll actually lick up and then eat the explosive barrel instead of throwing it at you? Yeah, I know, just such a lovable goofball, isn't he? And then we have the fact that Nibbles Snarf's introduction just makes me want to go, nope, I'm not dealing with that at all. Because Nibbles Snarf literally pops out of nowhere, waiting for the right moment for the two Renafloses to come together, and then snatches them both up and eats them. It's still a wonder how herbivores in Monster Hunter are not extinct. But apparently, you know what? High breeding rates always do help at the end of the day, right? So, with that being said, yeah, Nibbles Snarf definitely earns its shared place for the number 7 spot on this list here. But don't get me wrong, I do think Nibbles Snarf might be a little bit tasty in my opinion. He may not have been on my top 10 Monster Hunter or Delicious Monsters list. But again, I would like to eat Nibbles Snarf after I get over my fear of being eaten by him. So, with that being said, let's actually talk about why his partner over here, the Ocean Big Mouth, is the most feared. And this is because the concept of a deep sea Gobble terrifies me to the core. You see, Gobble do originate from the sea, along with, Nakarkos, Cadeas, Lagiacris, all that stuff, right? And the interesting part about it is, Gobble may have a bigger version of itself in the deeper sea areas, right? The fact that this thing is literally a void entirely when it opens its mouth is absolutely frightening. Imagine being a mermaid in the Monster Hunter verse and you're, attracted to this bright light. So you go over to investigate, not even realizing that you're going into the maw of one of the biggest ocean killers out there. And the fact that it's still down there and we don't know what it looks like. Maybe it's because the guild doesn't even know what it looks like entirely. I mean, these guys could be black scaled with white bellies, kind of like a whole great white shark in my opinion. And then it just adds to the nightmare fuel. The fact that you know good and well that once you come across this thing, it's a wrap. Nothing is stopping it. Nothing is going to save you from when it gets you. And that is why Gobble and Nibbles Snarf share this spot. One being terrifying in already establishment, and one already being terrifying in concept. Let's move on to the next one. At number 6, we have Baruga Guru. Now, Baruga Guru in concept is terrifying. It's a Leviathan of an unknown origin place. We don't know where it originally came from. Only knows that it's just from the sea. Again, another one. But I think what terrifies me the most about it here is the fact that its ecosystem may not have been able to sustain it for longer than it needs. And now it's just an invasive species. But I think what terrifies me the most is that this thing can actually have a hunger as worse, if not far worse, than Deviljho. See, we call Deviljho an ecosystem devastator, and a lot of people also buy into that narrative, even though that means that the ecosystem itself could not sustain Deviljho, likely having small prey animals like Kelby or maybe just mole swine as well, and then very few competitional predators, likely not even a great in the region as well. But Baruga Guru, nah, the fact that he's decimating entire packs of Gen prey, Aya prey, and their drones or greats, okay? Just decimating them entirely because of their poisonous sacks and stuff like that. And keep in mind, I've already made a video about why it just goes after them, and it's because they're a lot easier. It can't risk it against Rathian and Rathalos on, a daily basis, right? I mean, that would obviously be, I think we all can agree, that would be dumb. That would be stupid. No creature is going to risk consistently fighting against Rathalos and Rathian for their poison. Especially Rathian, considering the fact that she is still formidable in her own right. I'm not saying Baruga Guru probably can't beat a Rathian. I mean, I'm not saying Rathian's fodder either. But what I'm saying is Rathian's far too formidable to actually just be going after on multiple occasions for their poison, including the likes of Dread Queen and Pink Rathians, obviously. But the fact that we see this creature just genocidally wiping out entire families, like just straight up massacring entire packs of Gen prey, Groggies, and Aya prey and stuff like that because of their poison. Because it needs it to sustain itself. It just has that need. There isn't a vat of poison enough for it. And believe it or not, I do think if Baruga Guru was in wilds, he would be perfect as a natural predator to Rompopolo. And think about it, right? Rompopolo already has the skin-secreting poison and is a poison-based wyvern in general. I think Baruga Guru would love to just eat him constantly. He's a very big prey animal, and he's of a desirable size as well. Meaning that he could honestly just wine and dine consistently on a Rompopolos. But yeah, he definitely gets this spot. Number 5, I have the male Gammas. Now, I remember talking about this in one comment section with a subscriber or just a viewer, it is what it is. But I actually do think male Gammas are terrifying in concept. We don't know what they look like, as all the Gammas we fight are female, likely just highly aggressive and protecting their calves and stuff, which does mean that we just killed a mother. Yeah, okay, I kind of like to apologize for all the actions I done did against the monsters and Monster Hunter. It was just a job, but then again, y'all drip, I do need that Gammoth drip. It just goes hard, But with that out of the way, Gammas are all female. The ones we fight, at least. Kind of like Mizutsune is how we fight all the males. Because, breeding season. It is what it is. I understand. You guys got to get worked up because, trying to get some for you and your children. But the fact that male Gammas may be way more powerful, or probably are way more powerful, probably bigger, more testosterone, probably a bit more layered with their tusk and their crest more dominant, and much more, I'd probably say different in coloration, which is why I do agree with Unnatural History's description of it, probably with them having black fur because of their testosterone levels, kind of like a black Diablos, right? And the fact that there's very possibly no evidence of predation upon male Gammas, because any predator that tries to go near them meets their end. Imagine it, right? A Tigrex. Doesn't matter if it's Grimclaw or a basic one. They go after a male Gammoth, they're getting slaughtered because of the level of strength that they have. If a Gammoth can just manhandle, a fully grown female Gammoth can manhandle a Tigrex with ease, and they're known to kill Tigrexes when they're adults by squashing their skulls, imagine what a male Gammoth can do. Imagine the level of brutality even a Tigrex has to endure. Imagine Barrioff thinking about ambushing its next quarry, but when it gets a good look at it, it says, "Heck nah, that's a male Gammoth. Oh, heck nah, we ain't doing that." Imagine Eucanlos actually searching for prey, but this is the one creature that will absolutely harm it. Because again, we know good and well Eucalyptus is the only thing that could really take down an adult Gammoth confidently. But even then, Gammoth's putting up a fight. But what if these male Gammoths are just so tough, so strong, and so durable, and just well equipped to the point where nothing would really be able to prey upon them? And again, this goes back into my Gammoth versus Jindahad, where I think if a female Gammoth is a high diff for Jindahad, or probably a good match for it, then I think a male Gammoth would just be an absolute heck no for any creature. I mean, again, we don't know what they look like, but we know good and well that the guild does not allow even our hunters to hunt them. Even at the, rate that we're at. Keep in mind, Gammoth is an Elder Dragon level monster, the strongest out of the Fated 4. And again, giving her a variant is just already straight up broken as it is. But what if male Gammoths are just that much of a danger, or that dangerous that no one wants to fight them? Not one creature, not even a Devil Joe would risk it unless it's super desperate. And even then, that's just a death sentence waiting for it. And the fact that our hunters never really talk about going against a male Gammoth. But what if a hunter actually did it, right? What if we actually went after a male Gammoth? The hunters actually, or a group of hunters went after a male Gammoth one time, and they came back with just an unholy nightmare. They managed to kill it somehow, right? But they'll state they'll never do it again because of how difficult and how dangerous that monster was, with one of them probably getting crippled or nearly killed during it, right? And so male Gammoths are hereby off limits to the guild because of how strong and how tough they are. That's why they earned this spot. At number 4, I definitely have Jwoo or Jwoo. Now, Jwoo here, I don't think there's really any other reason why I can't say he's one of the scarier monsters on this list. I mean, just look at him. Or maybe her, because again, we do see Jwoo going to its lair with eggs. Maybe the ones we fight are also female as well. I wonder how they reproduce, actually. Maybe like the standard octopus stuff and like that. But then again, we really, I guess we say, don't really know too much about this creature as of yet. But Jwoo is a monster that feeds on high-level energy beings and likely sees via energy senses, and the fact that its mouth is just horrifying. But I think one of the most horrifying concepts about it is one of the missions that you do. I will be posting it very soon after I do get through all the story stuff like that. But it's the fact that Jwoo is capable of eating us as well, and it's one of the few monsters that will do it without hesitation. And it will even snatch up villagers and go off to just eat them in its own little area, to where we even find the clothes of the person as well kind of probably either spat out and everything. And the fact is, we know good and well Jwoo may have just eaten them alive, unfortunately. But the fact that this creature also hunts the guardian monsters like they're nothing, uses its mouth to attack you as well, and kind of the fact that it just seems very calm in what it does as well. It's confident that it can kill you. It's confident that it can eat you. It's confident that you are going to be its next meal. Unfortunately, I didn't need that chest piece for my original Apex armor now, so kind of is what it is. Unfortunately, but you just happen to be some good drip for my original armor set. But overall, I do think that Jwoo here is one of the few monsters that just screams horror, screams you don't want to fight this, screams this is going to eat you, and it's not going to bat an eyelash at it. It's just going to do it because it can. And the fact that it just does that in general, no matter what armor we're wearing. And this does mean that Jwoo just has a high-level energy consumption as well. It just prefers eating high-level energy monsters. But this is why it gets the number 4 spot. Number 3, I have Maleno. And it's kind of pretty simple. Why? It's a dragon and a vampire. Yeah, I don't think anyone wants to deal with that now, would we? Maleno's entire thing is that he is a corrupted Elder Dragon from by far gone of his primordial or his more justice days, right? And again, that's why one of the few reasons I am still doing, what if Maleno was never corrupted and stuff like that. And obviously, it's still going, I just have to find the time for the next part and stuff like that, or just to upload the next part. But with that being said here, yeah, Maleno is actually a very terrifying Elder Dragon, and I do feel like it should have had more animations for it feeding on monsters. Imagine if a monster was in the area and, well, Maleno simply spots it. And then it could be a situation where the monster tries to flee, but Maleno pounces on it, grabs it by its neck, and then begins to siphon all the energy from it, or siphon the blood from it, before tossing it to the ground. If the monster's on low health, this could actually kill the monster, meaning you could honestly complete a mission without really doing too much to have to put in the work to end that monster. But then you also have the fact that, well, I guess that could have been a little bit too much for certain creatures as well. And with Elder Dragons, it could actually still be somewhat of a turf war that Maleno can just eventually overwhelm and then sap the Elder Dragon blood from the, well, Elder Dragon like Kushala, Teostra, Chameleos, and Valstrax and stuff like that. Each one having, a unique animation to it, but maybe with just a little bit of flow and stuff. Kind of still find it funny that Valstrax really doesn't have a turf war, it just has an animation of it ambushing. But overall, I do think Maleno is one of the more terrifying monsters, as again, this is a creature with not only its own unique glow, but we know good and well it's feeding on the blood of its prey animals. But yeah, this is why he does get the number 3 spot, in all honesty. If he, maybe had those animations, he probably would have been higher. But I do think for what he has, he is still a very powerful and a very dangerous Elder Dragon in his own right. So with that being said here, yeah, let's move on to the final 2 on this list. Number 2 should be no surprise. I mean, we got the Monsterverse Slayer himself, Dalador. Dalador is obviously one of the few monsters I think anyone should genuinely be afraid of, especially the fact that this dude only appears during a breeding season. And, well, maybe on occasion you will see its young running around. But I don't even know what the record size for a juvenile, maybe even a baby Dalador would be. Where do they go when they're born? Do they live out most of their life in the ocean until they're on a juvenile stage and they can come on land? What if a juvenile-sized Dalador is around the same size as a Laoshang lung? Like that, it has to be terrifying. And the thing about it is, my glorious king over here, the King Serpent Dragon, it has so much, but yet we know so little. We know that when this thing appears, it's a wrap. Nothing stopping this but our hunter, or hunters in general. And we don't even know what it eats on a regular basis. We know it's carnivorous by the way it looks, and we also know it catches freaking star fragments and eats them. To fuel, or basically to gain its fire breath, young Daladors will do this. But again, we don't know at what stage they do. And the fact that the ones in the new world were bigger and stronger than the ones in the old world. Probably not as big as a Shy Dalador, but probably definitely bigger than the, bigger of the basic species of Dalador, with Shy Dalador actually being, a much bigger one, just more agitated, I suppose. And the fact is, they probably do prey on other large species. So things like the dominant life forms, a Cantor, Eucanlos, Laoshang lung. Likely all these creatures would be able to satisfy a Dalador's growth plan. And let's be kind of honest here. I do think that Dalador should be back in Wilds. The environment, or at least the hub environment, definitely feels like it's the remains of a Dalador skeleton, especially around it. So if Dalador is the one to come back, again, as I made in a video about what Zoshia, or what Elder Dragon was Zoshia made for, I do think that it would be better if Dalador does come back, because it was the dragon that wiped out the entire ecosystem and, well, wiped out Arkveld's original species because it was hungry. And again, we don't know what a young or juvenile Dalador pretty much would be doing, okay? And to be kind of honest, I would love to see it. I would love to see what Dalador does. I would love to see an entire life of a Dalador. But this thing is horrifying. As you know, when it awakens, it's just about a wrap. And the thing is, the way we're going to die is because this dude is just trying to get some. It's absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, he definitely takes the number 2 spot for multiple reasons, though. But now for the last one. Number 1 was kind of obvious. I mean, I don't really think I need to explain myself, but obviously every monster does deserve their just desserts. It's Fatalis. The original Crash Out. The OG. Alright? Now, Fatalis himself is terrifying for multiple reasons. For starters, the lore behind him. This man destroyed a civilization. Obviously, I think it was kind of justifiable, though. Not only did they make the equal dragon weapon, which was made out of the bones and remains of multiple elder dragons. Don't worry, that will be another video. We will still be scaling that as well on about how powerful it is, both from a power scaling perspective and from an ecological perspective. So be prepared for that. But the fact that Fatalis himself in his lore is literally and possibly a hunter. The fact that there is actually a sword in a village that has to be chipped at on a regular basis because they do not want Fatalis to grow back. Meaning they actually do have to harvest pieces of Fatalis from that sword in order to make sure he doesn't come back. So the fact that Fatalis himself is just honestly just an immortal killing machine bent on the destruction of the entire world, yet we have to slay it, and then we wear its armor because it gives us more power, but that power ultimately consumes everyone. It ultimately turns them into Fatalis. And again, I do think that would be an interesting concept for a monster hunter in Marvel Rivals. If you guys remember, if y'all remember if I made that video. But having a Fatalis and a hunter basically soul bond, but they have to share the same body. Imagine a story where they have to be the ones to work together. And this is the only time Fatalis has actually been genuinely good, genuinely powerful with a hunter, not being selfish enough to really take over its body, but they share one where if the situation calls for it, Fatalis will be allowed to unleash itself, or when the situation calls for the hunter, he'll turn right back into his hunter form or right back into the hunter itself, showing that not only do they have a symbiotic relationship with each other, but a full understanding. But the fact that Fatalis as well will weld other hunters' armors to it as well, adding it to its overall durability and power. Nah, it's just one of the few elder dragons or black dragons, excuse me, or one of the few entities in Monster Hunter you just don't want to cross at all. So that is going to wrap up the video. Fatalis obviously takes the final spot. Let me know what you guys think of this list. Please comment down below, like and subscribe and share with your friends. This is Legendary Grimlock, and I do hope you guys have a blessed day. And well, I'll see you guys for the next Monster Hunter related video. Peace.